Hey there, my name's Clark from Little Robot, and I'm going to show you how to make the default drop-down element from Bubble way better. So for me and a lot of people, we're frustrated mostly by this little icon in the corner here. It's too small, it's too close to the edge, and probably the most frustrating part is that you can't push it over with padding. And the reason why that is, if we go and look at it here, is that Bubble sets this icon. Are we grabbing it? This guy? With a background image. Here it is. And that's not a bad thing. It just makes it hard for us to tinker with in Bubble. So I'm going to show you how we can manipulate it with a couple lines of CSS that will throw in this HTML element. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. So first of all, let's put in some choices here. Black tea, green tea, oolong tea, white tea, herbal tea. Good drop down needs good choices. And then for the styles, I already have some set here. So just to keep this moving along faster, this is what they are basically, if you want to grab them. And then I'm just going to change this, give it a max width instead of fixed width so it's more responsive, and make it a tiny bit shorter. And with that, we're pretty much ready to get going. The first thing we need to do is head into the settings tab, and in general, at the very bottom, if I move myself out of the way, we can expose the ID attribute for our elements. Put myself back in the corner, and then back in our drop down at the very bottom, we can give this an ID. I'm going to call this custom drop down. Drop down. There we go. I will copy that for later. And now inside of our HTML element here, I'm going to throw in some style tags. And then put a little pound sign in front of our ID names so we can play with it. And then give it some curly brackets. Now, the first thing we want to do is reset the background image. Background image. We can do that with this here. And if we type URL, some parentheses, and then put a important bang behind it, then this should override the Bubble defaults. Now, inside of this URL, we need to put the link to the drop-down image that we're going to be using. So if we head over to the design file here, I can grab this drop-down. I already have mine because I've been practicing. And then back in the data tab in the file manager, we can upload our own pictures here. So there's our drop-down, and if we grab the link address and throw that in the parentheses, then we'll get to see that the default Bubble dropdown is replaced with our new, much cooler dropdown icon. This isn't perfect yet. We need to do a couple more things. Next one being the position. We want to get it further away from the edge. So, well, for that, it's just background position. And we had 14 pixels, but there is a little bit of padding in that icon. So I'm going to do 12 pixels. And then from the top, 50% is going to center it vertically. Yeah. And then zeros for bottom and left. I'm not actually sure if the important bang is necessary, but it kind of works sometimes and doesn't for bubbles, so I just put it in everything now. Last thing is background size. If you noticed before that our icon still looked a little bit small, that's because Bubble defaults to 1M. So I'm just going to say auto, and that should set it to the actual icon size. And let's go see how this looks. There we go. So our drop-down icon is a much more acceptable ways away from the edge, and we have all of our T's to choose from here, and it's still the default, however, but that's okay. This looks way better. What did it look like at first? Let's throw in another drop-down to see how far we came. So yeah, we got this from this, which is leaps and bounds, I think. One thing you might be asking is, you want to do this for all the drop-downs across your app? For that, we just need to throw in a plugin, which is classify here. So you can just add plugins and search for it. And then as soon as you add that, you can use their notation to add classes to elements. And the way you do that is with some open and closing curly brackets, add class. They have the documentation for this stuff that you can see it. Our class name was custom dropdown. And before we can go see how this is working, we need to go up here into the HTML and change this from a £sign to a dot for classes. And now, if we add more of our dropdowns, we should be able to see that CSS is fixing all of them. And there you go, dropdowns in Bubble 10 times better. Bye.